Any way you get through there, buddy?
No, sir. I'm
Okay, you
good to go
good?
now.
All right. We're taking extra precautions to be sure our employees are cool, and we encourage you to do that. And you don't have to be out in 104-degree heat. Don't be. It's cooler inside. So we just encourage you to not take that heat lightly, because it certainly is extreme. Other announcements from the commission?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
don't forget, July the 2nd, which will be Saturday week, we'll have the National Peanut Festival. We'll have the fireworks and vendors, and it's gonna be a big day. We usually have 10 to 12,000 people who come to that. So it's a big event. Everybody that wants to come and be a part of it, celebrate our nation's birthday.
Excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other announcements or comments from the commission? All right, then we'll move right into the agenda. We have one item to be considered for the agenda under awards and presentations. That is a proclamation for Holland Motorsports and Holland Family Month. I think Touch Holland is celebrating a milestone, and hopefully we'll be here to recognize. Anybody have any objection to putting that item on the agenda? All right. Regular agenda. We have a request to approve the 2021 insolvents, errors, and taxes in litigation and uncollected insolvents and litigations for previous years for final settlement with the state of Alabama. Something, and Starla's here if you have questions, but this is something we have to do, are required to do annually. And it is basically exactly what it says. We're just settling up with the state on insolvencies. Any questions or comments regarding this? Any objections to adding that to the agenda?
No objection.
All right, item number 2 is a request to approve a resolution authorizing transfer of property at the request of the Industrial Development Board of the City of Dothan. This is for acreage at the distribution park. Matt and Colton are here if you have questions. Matt, you want to make any comments regarding that? This is just a transfer of that. You shook your head and you still stood up. So go ahead and make comments.
Well, I was just gonna say, as we've done in the past, Chairman and Commission, we've got a potential project, and we're requesting the transfer of property to help accommodate it, similar to what we did with the McLean project. And so that is what the request is, and hopefully things will work out and it'll go through.
And should it not, the property can be and will be transferred back to the county.
Correct. Thank you.
Any questions for Matt? This is how many acres? 80? 100.
Yeah, actually 149, of which 90 is usable on the survey. So
All right, any questions for Matt? Marco? All right, any objections to adding that to the agenda? Okay. Number 3 is a request to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance of a general obligation warrant to Smart Bank. You want to explain why we're doing this? I know we've already addressed this one time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commission, this is the vehicle at which we will borrow the money from Smart Bank, being the county borrowing the money from Smart Bank. It is a general obligation warrant, as opposed to in prior years, we've done leases. This is a general obligation warrant that requires a resolution from the commission, as opposed to just approval for lease financing. This has been reviewed and approved by the county attorney, and he has indicated this is the proper way in which we should execute this transaction.
I believe we previously approved the financing, but we did not adopt a resolution, and we need a resolution in place. So this is correct in that situation. Any questions regarding this? Yes, sir.
I guess the numbers just work out better doing it this way. Is that why?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, any objection to adding that to the agenda? All right, item number 4 is request to approve a budget amendment to reflect impact of fuel prices. Budget amendment in the amount of $544,000. Any questions or comments? Barclay, you and the sheriff department. Anybody else think y'all can park your vehicles the rest of the year?
No, anything good.
I'm kidding. Gas is obviously gone up tremendously, and it has created we forecast an increase in fuel, but certainly not what we have run into. So y'all know I was kidding. We have to provide security for our citizens. We have to continue to do work. We have to pick up your garbage, and so we have to buy fuel to do that. The costs are what they are, unfortunately. Any questions regarding this budget amendment?
I just have a comment,
Yes,
Chairman,
sir.
on this matter, the increase of 544,000 more dollars amending the budget. As the road and bridge and engineers look at what can we do to reduce some of this cost. The cost is there, fuel's cost is there, it's not coming down. You know, the old saying, we used to carpool. Well, is there anything that we can look at that we can do to eliminate, instead of 5 vehicles going on one job project, get by with 2 or 3? I know this is just a thought, but
We phased out all the old single cab trucks that we used to have. Now we have crew cab trucks that usually there's a crew riding out in. Also, we have COVID firing back up. So do we really want to pack everybody in one? We want to put 6 people in one vehicle? I don't think so. So, I mean, we're doing what we can, you know,
That's
we're
right.
leaving trucks parked where we can. I mean, but you know, you got to get back and forth, trucks got to run, so.
If I could interject for a moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner. This is purely fuel price based. I have analyzed over the last 6 years the actual gallons consumed, and the county is on par with historical averages. This is purely because of a near doubling of the fuel price over what the short-term energy outlook was from the Department of Energy last year, which is what we use, what I use to forecast the expected fuel prices. This update that you have before you is also from the steel from the Department of Energy. This is not volume increase, this is price increase.
right, it's not, if the cost of the fuel going up, but the gallon per day is not necessarily escalated due to.
That's correct.
We still have, or maintaining efficiency in maintaining our fuel costs.
I'm sorry.
I just to say, as you, I'm sure recall, that we purchase our fuel through a joint bid with the city of Dothan and the city school systems. And using that volume, we are able to get better than retail price. But our prices still are going up. The wholesale prices are still going up. And we pay a factor over the wholesale price, less than retail, but certainly it's more than what we forecast.
I appreciate Barclay and the Houston County Road and Bridge being conservative, and it's just an idea that if there's anything that we can see, and I'm sure y'all will make those adjustments if necessary.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, same with sheriff and anybody that drives a lot of vehicles, man hours, miles. You know, it's just tough right now, but we're getting ready to do budget, so you know, even in vehicle purchases, we need to look at vehicles and try to get vehicles that are efficient. I'm saying, I'm not for electric vehicles, but I'm saying vehicles that use gas, and usually newer vehicles are more efficient. Any other comments regarding this? Yes, sir. You come to the microphone, please, sir.
While he's coming, I'll say, not long ago, a tanker of fuel was $9,000. Now a tanker of fuel is $30,000. So, and I signed every one of them. So, I mean, it's unreal.
Yes, sir. State your name and.
Good morning. My name's Greg Wiggle. Just a question about that. You know, you raise it 500,000 in the event, hopefully, when the gas goes back down, if it does, what happens to that 500,000?
It'll just carry over into the next budget and it'll be in the fund balance.
So you don't take that back out of the budget or?
It stays in the budget. It'll stay in the general fund. This is just a budget amendment. It's not, we're not spending this. It's a budget amendment that
Okay,
goes into the budget. If we don't spend it, it just stays there and transfers into our fund balance.
so it's
In other
not,
words, it stays in the bank.
gotcha. That was my question.
There,
Thank
good question. Thank you. Any others? Yes, sir.
Jerry Charles Dillard, long time Dothan in city of Houston County taxpayer, Ashford High School graduate, Army veteran, lifeguard at Porter's Fairland. And yesterday out of Taylor on Hosea Road, I'm a bluebird box builder, also in a bird watcher. The county had that big brush cutter out there and just tired up for them birds that built nests in there on the trees and all like that. And it's totally useless. It's totally stupid. And also the county goes out there. Well, you let me have my say. You let me have my say.
Excuse me. I'm
You let me have my
chairing
say.
this meeting. The item we're talking about is gas and fuel
Oh,
prices. Do you have a
this-
question about that?
This involves the machines that burned on diesel, two of them.
Okay, then talk about the fuel price.
Okay, the fuel prices, and also, when you resurface a highway like Hodgesville Road inside the city limit, the county maintains 80 miles inside city limits, and the city of Dothan's got 15 times the revenue. But what you do, is you go up there, when you research it, and tills everything up, chews everything, beautiful centipede grass. Right in Southern Heritage Funeral Home yesterday, I noticed when I went to the funeral,
Uh-huh.
and it's just washing, and what you do, you just dump dirt and it just washes away. All you had to do is just leave it alone. If you had experienced road patrol operator, you could resurface
Mr.
it
Dillard,
and
if
just
you
click it.
have any comments about this budget amendment, you're welcome. to
That
make them.
includes diesel,
Mr.
those
Dillard.
machines run on diesel there.
Mr. Dillard,
Chairman.
I'm gonna ask you to sit down now.
Okay,
please,
but
sir.
I'm telling you,
Thank
those machines run on diesel. I know you don't like it.
Sit down. Thank you. Any other pertinent questions? All right, any objection to adding this to the agenda? All right, item number 5 is request to approve budget amendment to report excess revenue received related to prior year. Y'all want to explain that? I'll leave it both of you.
I'll be happy to explain that. This is sort of according to generally accepted accounting principles, which the Government Accounting Standards Board has adopted in their rules of governance over the financial statements for a government entity. There is the concept of matching. And what matching means is you should match the revenue with the expenditures in the year in which the expenditure occurred. Now, what happens oftentimes with these natural disasters is that the money comes in a later period. So from an accounting standpoint, it is not supposed to be recorded as revenue in the current year. But what the state examiners do when they perform their examination of our financial statements is they put it back to the beginning fund balance as if it was revenue from a prior year. So this form is to show you that Road and Bridge had in their current budget expected to receive $250,000 in the current budget. They received an additional $900,000 from this disaster recovery funds. But the notional amount is the amount that's going to go into beginning fund balance. The cash is coming in this year. The cash has come in this year. But the $900,000 is going into beginning fund balance. So I didn't want you guys to expect to see the $1.2 million in revenue this year. You'll just see the 250, which was in the budget. But the $1.2 million is cash in the bank.
So basically, we're making an amendment to show the additional revenue.
Beginning fund balance. Yes,
Okay.
Basically, we're letting y'all know we got an additional $900,000 revenue.
correct,
In the budget.
Yes, and it'll go in the fund balance of the previous year.
correct.
It won't be a revenue of this year, even though the money came in this year.
It is cash this year, but not revenue this year.
Clear as mud. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Colbert, does this, Kirkland, does this end the request for the funding that we got from FEMA? Will there be any more FEMA funds that will be considered in the year coming from the hurricane?
Yes, sir. We have one outstanding project we've still got to do in Ashford in Old Taylor Place. We did a hazard mitigation over there on the drainage structure and got it approved. And we've got, I think the pipe has come in finally. It's 2 10-foot diameter pipe, big pipes. So we just got to schedule that work. And that will be money coming in too. I'm just not sure when we're gonna do the work again.
That's what I was asking. So
Yes,
there
sir.
will be some other funding coming in
Yes,
from
sir.
FEMA
Yes, sir.
on this.
Yes, sir.
Sure, okay.
But we just got the mitigation grant approved probably 5 or 6 months ago. So we didn't know if it was going, they were going to approve it or not. So
Any other questions regarding this budget amendment? Objections to adding this to the agenda? All right, item number 6 is a request to approve budget amendment due to the increase in project cost. This is just what is going on all over with all construction projects. Cost of materials going up.
Right.
We've got a lot going on. We're working on a lot of projects, and this is to basically make the amendment in the budget
Right.
for the added cost in the projects.
right. And also now, we didn't address that in the last one. There's also $680,000 revenue, which will come in this year's budget from Sam Houston Industrial Park, where we're getting reimbursed for that work we've got out there. So that will offset some of this increased cost due to Sam Houston and also the Ashford parking lot that we're doing. Everything just went up. So even though that the cost of materials is going up, there is some revenue coming in to offset that. So
And this is to just to get all of that
clean up that.
cleaned up in the budget.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Questions? All right, anybody have any objection to adding that to the agenda? No objection. All right, anything else to be considered from the commission for the agenda? We have 2 privileges of the floor requests today. Privileges of the floor are made available to our citizens to make comments to the commission regarding issues related to the county. It's not a time for debate, questions, or discussion, but any items presented will be taken under consideration by the commission for future action if necessary. Each speaker will have 5 minutes. The first speaker is Mr. Ricky Plummer, and he wants to come talk to us about the Elastic Play Target Program, which we've talked about before, down at Chattahoochee Park. Ricky,
Yes, sir.
glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you, gentlemen, for the privilege to be able to speak. I am Ricky Plummer. I represent a program called Scholastic Play Target Program. Mr. Shoup, you asked me to kind of show support for the program, Chattahoochee State Park. Most of these guys are out here, not all though. But we have Wicksburg represented, We have Emmanuel Christian represented, Providence, Bethel Christian Academy. We also have Enterprise High School represented. I think they're called Coffee County School now, Clay Breakers. So we have 5 schools represented here. I'm speaking today concerning a public shooting facility at the Chattahoochee State Park or an acceptable property. I've talked to all you guys. If that's not the place, then let's consider this on some. It has to be county property or state property, because the county is the one that has to access the money through a federal grant that's made available to government entities. That's called the Pittman Robertson Fund. We've already talked about that. Paul Lee, and let me say this, Mr. Culver, I apologize. You and I interviewed with Ken Curtis a few weeks back, and my statement was that I've gotten little interest from the county commission or the engineering department. I've gotten little interest. We've sat in 6 or 8 meetings together and talked about the state park. Paul Lee got $300,000 for this project. I want to go on record. That's not for cleanup. I know you're saying it doesn't say what it was tagged for when it came to you guys, but we've sat in meeting after meeting, and it's on record that came for trap machines, for shooting machines. I know you say it's not tagged for that. It could be used for anything, but truthfully, you and I both know that Paul Lee has stated to some of these on his commission that was gotten for this county for trap machines. So we'll go on off of that, but that's what's been said. He was trying to get $1.7 million from the state for funding for this project. He's put that on hold. He told me because there's a lack of interest from this county commission. Now, Paul Lee, I shared that with Ricky Herring yesterday, and so I don't know if you confirm that with me or not, but I think the trying to get that money for this project is off the table now. And I don't want to misrepresent you, but I've drawn my conclusion just because we've done nothing to further this down the road. If we need town hall meetings, as Doug has said may need to take place, then schedule some town hall meetings and let's talk about it. Again, Brandon, you asked me to show you support. These guys are here on 1 day's notice. And so just to say, we're trying to do something good for our county and for the kids. Chattahoochee State Park, I've heard some concerns about the clay targets. Those are biodegradable. It's not going to affect the environment. Lead shot is reclaimable. That won't affect the environment. Some have said, well, it's a pristine park down there. They just hadn't been down there since Hurricane Michael. It's not a pristine park anymore. Vandals have torn every facility up down there. So it's not a pristine park. I'm not saying it has to be done on this park. That park is considered school lands for the kids. You know, I hear all the time, let's do this for the kids. Let's do this for the kids on another issue that our state wants to vote on all the time. This genuinely is for the kids. And so I can't understand why we as a commission or county can't say, let's come together in some town hall meetings. Let's talk about this facility or a facility similar to this. So I've drawn my conclusion just on lack of interest. And so I'm sorry if I misrepresented you in an interview. Again, that's school land's money, school land. I come to you with the proposal of the shooting facility, not the ATV, not the horseback. We came back with a plan after you guys said you've been approached about ATVs, you've been approached about horse, you've been approached about camping. We developed that plan that I presented to this commission about a month ago. We presented that to you based on what you guys had said people wanted down there. I'm just coming to you representing the shooting facility. Now, those other guys are going to have to do the legwork and the work to try to raise the money for this project. And so I know you're not supposed to ask questions of me because of Robert's Rules of Order, but I'm open for questions. You and I've sat with many of these commissioners and no less than 6 or 8 meetings sitting in front of state people. And again, what do we need to do to progress this project down the road? I've been dealing with this since October 2019 with the commission since February 2020. We've talked about securing this lease from the state. Have we done that? Or are we on hold with that? Or You guys released it back to the state, 600 acres. I came to you, said, hey, if we're gonna do anything with that property, we probably better secure a lease. We got a temporary lease, I think, but have we done anything even since last month's meeting towards trying to secure that property back for our county? That's just kind of a question. And that's the reason why I've kind of drawn the conclusion that, hey, the commission's not interested in this project. I'm willing, these folks back here are willing to do the work. We built a program with 5 schools here in our area. We had 112 participants. Shoot, your son was Commissioner Shoot, your son was a part of that. That's money going to other counties that could be brought into our county. And so this is a revenue issue as well. And so any question, I appreciate the opportunity. I want to be cordial in trying to promote this program, but kind of see some roadblocks. But all right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Our next speaker is Tracy Johnston, and who also wants to speak on Chattahoochee Park.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I appreciate you letting me come this morning. I'll try to be brief. My name is Tracy Johnston. I live in a little unincorporated community called Lucy, Alabama. If you're not familiar with Lucy, it's right there above the Chattahoochee State Park. We've lived there for about 27 years. I've raised 2 children there. My husband has a small cattle farm there. We try to be good stewards of our land. We hunt. We are strong supporters of the Second Amendment. As a matter of fact, I was a certified shooting instructor for a school program several years ago. So I can appreciate Pastor Plummer's passion for doing something with young people. It's a great sport. Those of us in our community have no problem with guns and with a shooting team. I know that Pastor Plummer is a state advisor with the high school scholastic. Yes, yes. And so I know that his passion is there, and there are kids that might not want to or feel comfortable in some of the other sports, and it is a fast growing sport. So we have no problem at all with a shooting sport at a school. Now, granted, there are, as he mentioned, just a handful of teams here in Houston County. Our problem, those that I speak on behalf of today, our problem is seeing a public land privatized using state county money. That's where it comes from us. Our kids grew up camping and fishing and picnicking and birthday parties and just driving through the Chattahoochee Park. We've even gone pure redneck and gone swimming in the creek that runs under 95. It's great for that. When we first found out, well, Hurricane Michael, as everyone knows, devastated our part of the county in 2018. 2019, around the 1st of February 5th maybe, there was an announcement that the state park was closing. And if I could, when that got out on social media, just some of the comments, one of which, the park is a wonderful place to have fun as a family. When I was a single mom, this is the park I took my son to so he could learn how to camp and fish. Another one, we enjoyed getting together for picnics and holidays there. And this other one that kind of spoke to me, my father and 2 of his brothers helped to build this place when they were teenagers in the 1930s. So there was a want to have the park replaced back in 2019 when it closed. So if Pastor Plummer could find some other county land to do his shooting program, that's great. Our concern is, for one thing, the lead. And I know that there's lead reclamation on shooting ranges, but on average, a shotgun shell's got about 500 shots in it. You're looking at anywhere from 8, 8.5 to 9. And if a shooter shoots 100 shots, do the math, 500 times 100, what is that? If my math is right, that's 50,000 shots, lead shots. That's one shooter. You got, say, 20 people practicing down there. What's 20 times 50,000? And then you have a tournament with 100 or 200 people there. That's a lot of lead, and that's a lot of lead reclamation. So we just have a problem with that. And because the state park has wetlands, it has pond, it has water supplies, and the Florida aquifer is directly underneath the surface there at the state park. And ultimately, all of it's going to run into the Chattahoochee River. So that's kind of where we're coming from. It's in an area where there are a lot of water sources. And lead toxicity and water sources just don't need to go hand in hand. I'm proud to see all these young people here. There is a great need for this, and I pray that the shooting sport takes off. I pray y'all can find a piece of property, but we just don't think the Chattahoochee State Park is the best place for that. I would be willing to ask if any of you individually or collectively could maybe let some of us know what was the operating cost for the Chattahoochee Park when it was operable. I mean, is there a chance to ever, resort back to what it was before? Yes, there are no pine trees. There are some hardwoods there. There's a lot of work that's got to be done. The infrastructure is still there. It's just everything above ground probably has got to be rebuilt. So I asked that if we could ever find out what it costs to operate it. Is it feasible? You guys know your money, you know your budget. I don't. I'm a housewife living in Lucy, Alabama, and I got a little household budget. And that's all I've got. But I would appreciate any feedback that any of you have for us. And I wish the best for your funding range. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks both of you for coming. I will say, just as a comment, from the last meeting, our direction was clear, and I have been in communication with the state, and we are waiting on a draft lease from them. That's where we are. And as soon as we get that, we'll be ready to move forward and try to make some decisions. So thank y'all.
Can I
We
make
stand
one more
adjourned.
comment?